step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you tuned in live from the Pizza Ranch studio, hosting our tip-off club, leadoff club, and quarterback clubs throughout the season and around the state. Also presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks and Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, and that's why we're here. We go down to Nixa High School, and head wrestling coach Dustin Martin. Coach Martin, thanks so much for setting this up.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Coach, first, before we get to our athlete of the week, tell us a little bit about your season. You're just 3 or 4 days out of it. Tell us, kind of just put a bow on the year for you.
Yeah, so, anytime we talk about wrestling now, we always have double genders we have to talk about. But I got Zan Fugitt here, one of our male athletes, and our men's wrestling team had a great season. We took 5 wrestlers to the state tournament, and 4 of them medaled, which is a great, ratio of medalists to qualifiers. We had Aiden Ward, a junior, placed 6th. And we had a freshman, Curtis Glossop. He actually reached the semifinals and had a really tough loss, but came back. He kind of got banged up, actually. His ankle did, and was able to come back and wrestle his way to 5th place finish. And then we had Brennan Carey, a junior, who was also a Fargo national champion in Greco-Roman wrestling this summer. He was able to go win his first state title. He placed 3rd last year. And then right here beside me, we kind of had our headliner, really for the last several years, but definitely a headliner to our program this year, Zan Fugitt, senior, now a 4-time state finalist, 3-time state champion. List of accolades go a long ways. He's now our most winningest wrestler here at Nixa High School, and committed to OU to wrestle and ranked number 3 in the country. So, when looking back on the boys season, it was great. Those 4 I just mentioned scored a lot of points all season for us. The state tournament is scored. A lot of people don't get a little confused on the scoring of the state tournament, but it's each individual wrestler scores points for, winning matches and how many points are by fall if they get more points. We ended up just out of the trophy. So they trophy the top 4 teams in wrestling, and we were the first team out of the trophy, a 1.5 shy, which is really close. In fact, it kind of haunts you as you look back to that tournament and you find, where we could have got an extra 1.5 at. But the guys wrestled great. Our goal going into the season was to be in contention for a trophy, and we most definitely were. So,
as you talk about the young man sitting next to you, the accolades that have been put on him over the past 4 years, maybe unprecedented. You've got to go back. I think he broke Joe Villaquette's career record, if I can remember that correctly. But tell us a little bit about Zan and what makes him special.
Yeah, so actually I just had a teacher yesterday. They asked me, they're like, why is Zan so good? And, and I said, honestly, you can't, there's not just one thing that you can say, oh, this is why. It's definitely a long list of factors. It was, started with his parents giving him an opportunity, getting him into, clubs and being around the sport. And then it goes from there. It goes to him just being around the right people in his development, and then having a passion for the sport, with opportunities. And then, when you get into his actual DNA, he's a very athletic, very explosive, very strong. And just I think you add all those factors in there. He's got great technique on him. But when you add all that up together, it makes him a unique wrestler for sure.
Well, Zan, first off, on behalf of the Missouri Sports Network and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being a Chevrolet Athlete of the Week and a state championship.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here.
Take us here, 50-1 on the season. Kind of take us through the season from your point of view. Were there high points where you felt like, hey, I'm as good as I'm going to get this year, and maybe it's in the state championship? What were some points of the season where you felt like things were really going well for you?
Yeah. So when we went to the Walsh Ironman, that's where I had my toughest competition usually for the year. So whenever I made it to the semis there, I had the number 1 kid in the nation. I wrestled him to a tight match. So there I kind of realized I was there along with those guys, they were best in the nation. So that was kind of one of the high points of the season, just realizing I was there with those tough guys, they were good. So
and over your career, are there matches that you look back on and you say, man, I'd really like to go back and do that again? I'd like to get one more shot.
Yeah,
can you think of those?
Yeah, of course, but ultimately, like the losses, you learn more from the losses than you do a lot of the wins. So
He mentioned the Walsh Jesuit Ironman tournament in Ohio. Most non-wrestling people wouldn't know that that is the premier high school tournament of the season. And I think the top 4 or 5 kids in the top 10 were in his weight class, and he had a very very tough loss in the semis. Was leading the match with just a few seconds left and ended up getting beat. So, but one thing he's not telling you. So Misha changed the rules a couple of years ago, and you can now enter a college tournament during season. Nixa can have no affiliation. I can't enter him, can't coach him. He went on his own, but he entered a college tournament this season or in December and beat the current Oklahoma State starter, which was, I mean, when that happened, like our whole staff, we kind of laughed at ourselves and we're like, man, this kid's unreal. Like it just kind of put him on like a standard. We knew he was good at the high school level, and he's going to have his work cut out for him at the college level. It's not just going to be given to him by any means, but that was a pretty significant win. That was not actually affiliated with the high school season.
Zan, how long have you been wrestling?
I've been wrestling since I was 4.
What got you involved, and what was that thing that maybe that got your hooks in you, and you went all in wrestling?
Well, my brother started wrestling, and I was like, my dad did a bunch of jiu-jitsu, so that's what kind of started it off. And then I just got into it, and I loved it ever since. So,
what about it is most enjoyable? Is it the preparation? Is it the one-on-one where you there's no one else you can blame?
yeah, definitely the one-on-one. I mean, you can only rely on yourself when you're out there on the mat, so that's a kind of a thrilling factor of it. So it's definitely one of the main reasons for sure.
If the 2023 Zan Fugitt could go back to your freshman year and give yourself some advice, what advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know now?
Just to keep working hard and stay on the grind. That's the most important thing.
And now you've made your decision as far as next year. Tell us what went into that. What went into that decision to go where you're going to go?
Yeah. So when I went down there on the visit, all the coaches were really like nice, and then I did some research on the coaches, and we have a really good coaching staff. We have, I believe, 2 Olympians, and then we just got Tion Ware, who was I believe, 2-time NCAA champion. So a really good coaching staff up there, and it's really nice up there.
Is there anyone there at Nixa you would not wrestle?
Nah, I would wrestle. I would wrestle anyone.
What's going through your mind? And I'm not. We didn't have wrestling, so I've not wrestled. I've never coached it. I've been to matches, but I don't understand a lot of the preparation. You step on the mat. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
Just scoring points and having fun.
And you mentioned the Greco. Tell us a little bit about the difference for just the novice. What is the difference between what you do at the high school level and Greco?
Yeah, so there's 3 different styles of wrestling. So there's folk style, and that's what we do in like high school. And there's freestyle and Greco, and that's like what they do in the Olympics and like overseas and stuff. So high school season's folk style, and then I guess technically off season is freestyle and Greco. Freestyle is kind of like a combination of them all, and then Greco's like all throws and upper body and like hand fighting, stuff like that.
What's your diet like?
I try and eat clean, but for the most part, just drink a lot of water.
That was a change in his, early in his career. He did cut a little bit of weight, or monitor his weight for sure. And then when OU signed him, they actually asked him to go up a weight class. And so the last year and a half, he's actually been in a pretty good spot where he still has to watch his weight prior to weigh-ins, but been able to lift and feel a little better, going into the season.
Is there any like one food you had to give up that you really miss?
No, not really. I kind of just, I mean, I've never really been big on like soda or anything, so I mean, I don't really miss that stuff.
Well, very good. Well, Zan, an amazing high school career, and 3 state championships, 4 state appearances, 184 career wins there at Nixa. This was a no-brainer as far as athlete of the week, and again, on behalf of the Missouri Sports Network and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being named the Chevrolet Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Coach, what do you do between now and next year? What are you doing right now to get ready for the next season?
Lots of wrestling. Yeah, we still got youth. We're pretty involved with the youth program here at Nixa. I think it's a big part of it. We got over 200 athletes in our youth program, and they're getting ready starting this weekend to enter their postseason. And then after that, we switch gears and we hit the freestyle and Greco pretty hard. We're going to Spokane, Washington with the girls team, and Las Vegas with Zan and a few other of our wrestlers. And then we're hoping to put them on, some national teams or potentially world teams as well. So looking to stay busy this spring and summer.
Very good. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you setting this up. I know it was kind of short notice. You got back on Monday at Tuesday, emails back and forth, but I appreciate it. And again, Zan, congratulations and thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Zan, do you always wear your seatbelt?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Hey, you've been listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.